In this tutorial, we will have a look how we can make this jump button, and as you can see, as soon as we click on that jump button, we're just making our player jump. So we're gonna take a look on it. But before I jump into the coding part or in this tutorial, I want to thanks Noah Sealey for donating me on Patreon. And if you guys want to do, you can do so on Patreon as well as on YouTube, and by that you will unlock many benefits. So let's dive into this tutorial. Our jump button, to create that, firstly we need to create our canvas. To do so, move over to hierarchy, right click or hit this plus icon, then go to UI and select this canvas in the bottom, and then choose your canvas, press down F to focus on it, and go over to inspector, then canvas scaler component, and over there UI scale mode to choose scale with screen size, and in the width or in the X you can put 1920, and in the height or in the Y you can put 1080 if your game in landscape mode. But if your game in portrait mode, then you can just swipe this value. In the width or in the X you can put 1080, and in the height or in the Y you can put 1920. Since my game in landscape mode, so that's why I put in the X or in the width 1920 and in the height 1080. And after doing that, what we need to do, we need to create our button. To create that, select your canvas, right click on it, then go to UI, legacy in the bottom, and then choose this button. And we're gonna call this button to something like jump button. So let's call this jump button. We're gonna call this jump button, and we're gonna select inside this button. If we scroll our mouse to zoom in, we can see the text. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click over here in this button in hierarchy. Let's select our text and let's delete that. And what I want to do, I just want to replace this jump button image with something else. And to change that, we need to move over to this inspector, then image component, and we need to drag the sprite right over here. So I have the sprite. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move over to my project tab, assets, and then sprites folder. Then I'm gonna move over to my UI folder, and I have the sprite right over here. So I'm gonna select that square sprite. Let's drag it over to this image component. And now what we're gonna do, we need to make the width and height a little bit up. So we will go to rect transform, and in the width we're gonna make 2 to 5, around something like that. In the height we're gonna do the same thing, which is 2 to 5. And now what I want to do, I just want to put this button in the bottom right corner. To do so, make sure you select your jump button, go over to inspector, rect transform, click here, and hold down alt on your keyboard and select this bottom right corner, bottom right one. And we want to drag this for a little bit away from the right side as well as from the bottom side. To do so, we will go to rect transform in the X, or from the right side I'm going to post minus 200, and from the bottom I'm going to do 200. And now this is fine. And I also want to attach an icon inside this button, something like a up arrow, so it will indicate that this is our jump button. To do so, what we basically need to do, we need to select our jump button, right click on it, then go to UI, and then choose this image in the top you can see. And make sure you go to inspector, rect transform, click here, hold down alt on your keyboard and select this bottom right one. So it's this image just gonna stretch as the size of our jump button. And instead of calling image, I'm gonna call this something like arrow icon. So let's call it arrow icon. And I want to replace this image sprite with something else, something like a up arrow or a arrow. To do so, I'm gonna head over to my UI folder, and I have it over here. So I'm gonna select that, and let's drag it over to this source image field. As soon as we drag it, by now we can see that this arrow just pops up, this arrow icon. But the problem is that it's like 180-degree. So we're gonna move it in the up direction, or we're gonna rotate in the up direction. To do so, we will go to rect transform, rotation, and in the Z we're gonna put something like 1990. So as soon as we put 90, we can see now it's basically uh, indicating up. Now we can see this is our jump button. But the problem is that now if we click on this play button in the top, and then try to click on this jump button, you will see nothing will happen. Why? Because we need to hook this button with some certain function or with a jump function, and you will see that. So just wait a little moment and you will see it. So now if I click on this jump button, as you can see, nothing's happening. So what we need to do, I'm gonna get out of play mode, and if we select our jump button underneath our canvas game object in the hierarchy, then go over to inspector, scroll down to the bottom, says button component, and over here we can call the function. So we can call the simply jump function. So whenever we're gonna click on this jump button, that function just gonna trigger. So we need to call the function here. To call the function, I'm gonna select my player game object in the hierarchy, and let's open up the player script by double clicking on it in the inspector. So I already made a jump function, as you can notice right over here, and I just marked that function as public. So make sure you mark that function as public, or you're not gonna able to call this function underneath basically right over here. So we need to call that function, so that's why make sure you mark that function is public. If it's something like void, then mark this public and then do these things. So I hope you get the idea. So I'm gonna move over to my Unity, and now we will select our jump button. Let's go to inspector, scroll down to this button component, and right over here we can call the function. And in order to call the function, click on this plus icon, and you need to drag the game object in which game object the script is setting on or attached. So in my case, this player game object, as you saw, so I'm gonna select my player game object, drag it over to that slot. Now we have the player game object, and inside that player game object, or in this player game object, we can see the player script is attached. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna move over to our player game object first, and it says no function. So just click there, then go over to player script or player session class, and we can see the jump function right over here. If you're not able to see it, make sure you just make that function public, or else you're not gonna able to notice right over here. So firstly, we're going to our player script or player C# class, and we're gonna choose this jump function. So let me explain. We're just moving over to this player game object, then this player script, and if I double clicking on it, we can see inside this player script we have the jump function. So we basically calling the jump function whenever we just clicking on this jump button, we basically calling that jump function, and this jump function just making our player jump, as you can see right over here. So I hope you get the idea by now. And if we click on this play button in the top and try to click on this jump button, you will see as soon as we're gonna click on it, this player game object just gonna jump right away, because whenever we click on that button, we basically calling the jump function, and jump function just doing the rest thing. So if I click on this jump button, as you can see, as soon as we clicked on it, we can see the jump player basically making making the jump. So I hope you get the idea that how you can make the jump, and I'm gonna get out of play mode. And lastly, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next tutorial.